On behalf of Cheon-yang, Joseph's mother, Josie, Joseph's sister, and my name is Tom. If you want to give me a title, the title in Korean it is 새아빠, which translates to new dad. Now, I'd like to use new father, but there's only one father that we follow. So we don't say father, new dad. So on behalf of all of us, we'd like to just thank you for coming out here and just sharing, not a memorial, sharing of the celebration of Sky-Jo Lee. This is a time for us. Yes, we are sad, but this is a time for us to just come together, talk, cry if we need to, hug, but just be joyous of Sky's life. And we didn't know a lot of things, but each day God is showing us one by one, minute by minute, second by second, the amazing life that Joseph lived. So before we get started, I would like to ask Chaplain Brent, to come out here and just share a few words and a prayer before we get started. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Chaplain Brent. I had the privilege of getting to be Sky's chaplain while he was over at the Denver Rescue Mission in the New Life program. And during that time, I was able to have a lot of good conversations with him. I saw him grow in just his life. I saw him grow in his faith. And I just had that privilege of getting to know him in that manner. And I wanted to just share a quick word with you guys this afternoon from God's Word. And so, and the passage that I picked out here was 2 Thessalonians 2:13 through 17. And Paul writes, "We ought always to give thanks to God for you, brothers, beloved by the Lord, because God chose you as the firstfruits to be saved through sanctification by the Spirit and belief in the truth. To this he called you through our gospel, so that you may obtain the glory of our Lord Jesus Christ. So then, brothers, stand firm and hold to the traditions that you were taught by us, either by our spoken word or by our letter. Now may our Lord Jesus Christ himself and God our Father, who loved us and gave us eternal comfort and good hope through grace, comfort your hearts and establish them in every good work and word." So today we get to come and celebrate the life of Sky. It is, we are sitting here and we are mourning the loss of him. We're grieving him, and I think when we read through God's Word and we read this passage, we should also be comforted, and we should be, and it should draw us to be thankful for who God is. And so there's three things that I just want to pull out of this passage about just being thankful amidst our grieving and our mourning this afternoon. And so first, we should be thankful for Sky's faith in Christ. This not only contributed to all the things that we loved about Sky, his compassion, his love for other people, but we also know that, as Paul says here, that when we are saved by faith, that we have obtained the glory of our Lord Jesus Christ. And so although we mourn the loss of our dear friend, we should be thankful that he is praising God with the saints in heaven for all of eternity. Second, we should be thankful that that same God that saved Sky loves each of us and desires to save us. Whether we have been saved for years or have yet to come to know Jesus as our Savior, we must reflect on this, that God loves us, that Jesus, the God of all creation, desires a personal relationship from each and every one of us. And what makes that relationship possible? Well, it's through what Paul says in this passage, belief in the truth that is the gospel of Jesus Christ, that although each and every one of us is a sinner that's fallen from God's grace, we have all, that he died on the cross so that we can be reconciled back to him. So we have this eternal hope that we should be thankful for in the faith that we can have in Jesus Christ, and we should cling to that hope in our lives. And last, we should be thankful that God is a God of eternal comfort and hope. We should be comforted knowing that God knows our afflictions. He knows our troubled hearts. He knows each and every one of us in this room, the grieving process that we're going through, and he comforts us. Jesus says in Matthew 5:4, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." Jesus Christ is our great comforter. He will be with us, and he will comfort us in our times of mourning and affliction. And so today, as we get to share these stories and celebrate the life of Sky, I pray and hope that as we both mourn and grieve, but we are also thankful for getting to know him, thankful for what God has done in our lives, and also just thankful for the love and grace that he has shown us. So let me pray for us this morning, and we will continue on to sharing some stories. Lord God, we come before you, and we thank you for allowing each of us to get to know Sky, to be impacted and encouraged and loved by him. Lord, we thank you for being a God that loves us. We thank you for being a God that comforts us through grieving, through frustration, through anger, whatever emotions are going through our lives at this moment. We know that you are a God that is present. You are a God that loves us. You are a God filled with grace, and that you, oh Lord Jesus, can save us. You can comfort us, and you can, you know what we are going through. And so, Lord, I pray that you be with us this morning. Fill this space, fill this room with your Spirit, Lord Jesus, and draw us all near to you as we remember and celebrate the life of Sky Lee. We name this in your name. Amen. Amen.
Next on our program is a time of sharing, and this time will be open for anyone to come up and share anything they want to share, anything that is in their heart that they need to share. But before we do that, I just asked a few people to come up and say a few words. First person could not make it, so I have a recording. So if I can, barring technical difficulties, I'll try to play it.
Hello, my name is Kelly, and I work at the Denver Rescue Mission. More specifically, I work at The Crossing, the location where we hold the New Life program and the STAR program, transitional housing programs. Both programs that Sky Lee went through and really excelled at, created an incredible community there. I began working there in August of 2020 when he was about, I want to say, he was well into the program at that point. And it was my first time ever working, in a place where people were in recovery or coming out of homelessness. And I was very nervous to start a job like that. One thing I will always remember about Sky Lee, one of the first impressions he ever left on me was that he was very considerate and very thoughtful of other people. He was definitely one of the first participants to ever remember my name, ask me how the job was going, just come say hi to the front desk where I work and check in, and really just gave me a lot of confidence to continue doing the job, because when you're new and you're in a new field and you're in a new place, it can be terrifying. But if one person remembers your name pretty consistently, the people that you're working for, that can be really monumental and just put someone at ease that's nervous like I was. And so I think that very small impression, that small first impression about Sky Lee speaks volumes about who he was as a person. He was always looking out for other people. He was always trying to make everybody feel welcome, and he was, always there for other people in small ways and in big ways. For me, it was more of a small way, but, as I look back and remember, it was actually pretty big at the end of it all. And so, just reflecting on his passing now, I really wanted to share a verse that instantly reminded me of him when I heard the news. It's from Isaiah 61, and it reads, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to those who are bound. To proclaim the year of the Lord's favor and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn, to grant those who mourn in Zion, to give them a beautiful headdress instead of ashes, the oil of gladness instead of mourning, the garment of praise instead of a faint spirit, that they may be called oaks of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he may be glorified." So just reading this verse, I instantly thought of Sky. When he, started working at the Gathering Place, not only was he super excited, but a lot of the time he would connect the people he was working with to resources at Denver Rescue Mission. And so a lot of the time he would call us at the front desk to ask about the STAR program. He was with clients on speakerphone and everything, and he would always have us explain to him the program that we have. And every time I saw the Gathering Place pop up on our phone there, I was always like, I hope it's Sky Lee. And 99% of the time it was, and I always wanted to stop and be like, how's it going? How's the job? Da, 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 da. But, he was always working with clients and being professional, but it was still just so incredible to see him pour out into people the same way he was poured into, and really just, giving back and always helping out people like he always wanted to. And so, his passing is very hard, but his legacy is never going to leave us, ever. The people that we really love, they never leave us, and he's always going to have a really important mark on my life, and I know I'm not the only person who's thinking that and saying that about him. And so I just wanted to share my little excerpts about him, my little stories, and just pass along my deepest condolences to the friends and the family that were really close to him, and let people know that they'll be in my thoughts and prayers in this time.
I've asked a couple more people to come up and talk, and once they're done, anyone who else wants to come up, they're more than welcome to spend as much time as you need to share whatever you want. First, I'd like to ask Aaron.
Hi, I'm sorry I'm emotional, but I'm so happy that I was asked to speak about Sky. I met Sky a year ago at the Coliseum, which is why you see a bunch of us wearing our purple shirts. He was hired on to help run the shelter way early during the middle of COVID, when no one knew what was happening, and everyone was honestly scared of where we were going and what was happening. And Sky just jumped in and took the hardest job at the Coliseum, which was the dorms, and just thrived. And every day came in excited, willing to learn, and kind of made jokes about it, which was really welcomed. He did come to us from the STAR program, and from day one was open about his battle with recovery and his movement that he was making forward. And that was something that really struck me, was just from out of the gate how honest of a human he is. he shared, like I said, joys, but he also shared struggles, and he asked for help. And that's really what the gathering was there for, was to help push him along and walk with him while he was going through this. He, I think people know, but he started our peer recovery program, which is remarkable. He really wanted to share how his lived experience helped him become who he was. And so by sharing his struggle with recovery and homelessness, and then, like I said, his successes, he was able to reach out and work with people in a way that we've never been able to do before. And as I look around, I see so many people from gathering in different capacities, and it just shows that, it worked. One of my favorite stories about Sky recently was that when we were starting this program, I'm a very task-oriented person, and I had this long checklist and was like, all right, Sky, we're gonna do this and this and this. And he kind of looked at me with that little smile that he gets sometimes where he's like, you look really stupid right now. And was like, Aaron, that's a really bad idea. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, give me a day, and I want to fix this. And he completely redid everything that I had done. And it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. He redid the process to make it make sense for the people that we serve. And he shortly then started carrying a caseload of 20 plus people. He was a gift to the world. We needed him here. And I'm so fortunate that he chose to spend a year with us as part of the gathering community. And he's so important, and I'm so thankful that we got to know him and that we still get to know all of you. Thank you so much.
The next person we had met a while back, and he has gone through many steps together with Sky, so we asked him to come up. Please, Suck, if you could come up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Suk. I'm just gonna get into what I would like to say. Sky was a kind-hearted person. He loved many and was loved by as many. Even though his time on this earth was cut short by unfortunate tragedy, but his loving spirit, kind heart, and will to lift those who are down and out will be with us forever. I remember the first day I met Sky. It was about 3 years ago at the crossing of Denver Rescue Mission. I was just getting off work, heading to dinner in the cafeteria, and I was wearing my Seattle Mariners hat. And, he kind of stopped me, and he goes like, hey, you from Seattle? I was like, yeah. And then, he showed me his tattoo of the Seattle skyline that he had on his forearm. And I was like, oh, cool, that's tight. And that was that for our first encounter. But, as the days go by, it was one of the weekends. I went outside to go have a smoke, and, he was out there too wearing his Seattle Supersonics jersey. So, him and I, we started talking about, the Seattle sports teams, like, Sonics and the Seahawks. And, the more we talked to each other, we found out the more we had in common. Not were we just, both South Koreans, we both had the same last name, we had the same interests in, video games, sports, shoes and whatnot. So, I have to say we hit it off pretty good. And then, the more we hung out, and over the short amount of time that we had around each other, I can honestly say that our friendship turned into something of brotherhood, And it got to a point where he actually started calling me Hyung, which means older brother in South Korean. And I was like, when did I get this dude to call me? When did I get a little brother? You know, like he would just always call, and he would never text you. He would always call. You know, and I actually hated that. You know, sometimes I would actually ignore his call and text him saying that, like, dude, just text me. You know, it's kind of like you don't have to call every single time. But I guess what I really want to say is that Sky, you know, I don't think there will be another soul like Sky. He was very, like I said before, you know, he was kind-hearted, had a loving spirit. He knew so many people, but, you know, he loved them all in a different way that he could. And I do feel privileged to have known him, you know, and to have him call me his older brother. I will miss him very much. And yeah, I will miss him very much. Thank you, guys.
This young gentleman we just met, part of coming to a location where you need to kind of shore up some loose ends when someone passes. If you have any friends there, you're lucky that they can give you some assistance. And when we knew we had to clean out the apartment, I knew that there would be some heavy stuff, so I knew I couldn't do it by myself. I asked Suck to come help, and he came, but there were a couple who also wanted to come. In the car, there were 3 of us, and there's only one more seat. And we asked Suck to ride, and then we went to his apartment, and I said I'd come back to pick them up. But instead of waiting, they hop on a lift, followed us. You know, when you want to go into somewhere where someone has died, you have a lot of apprehension, but they came in with us without any hesitation, asked what they could do. Jessica went right to the kitchen, took care of all the kitchen, and Errol came with me picking up everything. And in that process, we were just picking stuff up and throwing away, and because, you know, if it didn't really mean much to us, but there was just this drawing that Sky had created. And Errol had asked us, oh, can I keep this? Because this is something that Sky had drawn, and it was very important to him. So I said, oh, we're just gonna throw it away, but we'd be honored if he would keep it. These are the little things that showed us that things that we didn't know about how amazing Sky was reaching and touching and communicating with other people. And since then, he has been just powerfully just sharing his life and his experience with Sky. So I wanted to ask Errol to come up and say a few words.
Hello, everybody. My name is Edward Hernandez. So I came a little bit prepared because this is my first time ever doing anything like this, and I'm sadly with Sky. So this is what I kind of came up with, and then I'll speak from the heart there. It says, what can I say that hasn't been already said about the amazing, most unselfish, good-hearted son, brother, father, best friend, peer, and co-worker, known as Joseph Hana. I've been trying to practice that in Korean, and I just can't get I'm trying so hard to show tribute to his mother. Yes, Joseph Hane, Sky Lee, that we all knew and loved. Joseph, according to the Bible, goes as follows. He will add from the land of Yasa, which means God increased in impending power and influence, which Joseph Lee was just that and so much more. So when I met Sky, to be honest with you, I was terrified of him. He looked so intimidating to me. So I was with another friend that I met at the crossing, and when we first saw Sky, we were walking down the hallway or whatever, and we looked at Sky. He gave us like this intimidating like stare, and and I was talking to my friend, and we commented to each other. We're like, I don't think he's gonna make it here, and then and then so soon after, I just saw the courage that he had trying to make new friends and be a part of a group that he was new to or whatever. And so like shortly after, well, I'm the artist, right? And so I ended up shortly later getting a tattoo machine. And so he got wind of it, and so he was just like, tap me up. And even though it was like not even like the safest place to do it, I did it because he believed in me for some reason. And sure enough, I did all the tattoos on his hands and his arms. And there's this funny story where he wanted this panda. He wanted it on his neck. And I told him, I'm not that good. Like, I'm not that good. Like, don't put me on that position. And he's like, no, dude, I got you. Oh, man, I believe in you so much. And I was like, okay, for sure. And as soon as we started, I kind of finished like a few lines, and I said, I'm done, dude. I cannot do this. So thanks to me, he has a few lines that mean nothing. But yeah, and soon after that, I ended up meeting, Sook, and then so Sook and Sky and myself, we became the closest of friends. Best friends, if I can say. And I'm a person that doesn't like the word best friends. I don't believe in best friends, only because of my past life. I've been, whatever. But Sky didn't care. Sky was like, you're my best friend, you're my best friend, you're my best friend. And he was constantly saying that, and which, now I see what a best friend is. And I never knew what it was. And thanks to him, I know what it is now. And now I know how to move accordingly to that. And I will always love him. He'll always be my brother, my best friend, and so much more. Thank you.
We came here with a plan of just taking our son home right away. We flew in Friday, we would make all the arrangements, and by Sunday or Monday would fly out of here with Joseph, take him home and put him next to his grandmother. But throughout this whole time, each day when we had to do one thing and the next, we were learning. We were learning, one, he had great friends. Two, he had great coworkers. And finally, three, how much an impact he has had on a lot of people. And he still is. He has impacted us. And the things that we are learning, for example, there's no way I can go and approach someone who's homeless and ask them what they need and understand what they needed. He went through this whole process of being homeless. He went through this whole process of being someone who is a servant of a chemical, someone who is just blinded by something that alters your mind. He overcame that. Instead of that ruling him, he ruled over that and used that to help so many people. So in that process, whatever phase it was, he was meeting people, sharing, helping. And a couple more people that were in that process, there were two more people. Chris, is Chris here? Yes, come on up. Can you share a few words? Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Chris. I was in the program with Sky, and we started. I didn't really get to know him at first, but he always had like a smile about him or a way to go out of his way for anybody. You know what I mean? Like if you needed something, he was there. If you just call you up, like, hey, I know room clean, I'm coming up, I'm gonna help you. Hey, let's get on Purpose Driven Life. And I try to have like 10 people sit on Purpose Driven Life and embed God in me. And he'd be the first one up there, the first one bringing me in, the first one calling me to his room, the first one going all the way to Westminster for me, the one helping me find my apartment. I mean, there's not one thing that man would not do for you. I mean, he had a heart of gold, and it's just like, it's hard to say anything because just a week ago I was talking to him on the phone, you know what I mean? And I was supposed to go to his house, and now he's gone. And for 2 days after he had died, I dreamt of him, and it rained, and I thought about Seattle. And I was like, man, I feel his spirit on me, and I feel everything I'm doing and saying. With his walk with God, he had a strong faith with his son, with his family. There's not one thing that man didn't have that was not genuine or real. Like, if you wanted a friend, he was it. There's a lot of things I look through him. I look at better myself as a human being by the way he treated other people. And he's just appreciated your miss, guy. I know you're with us. Love you, bro.
Another gentleman is Chris. Is Chris here? Huh? Oh, Evan? Oh, I'm sorry, Evan. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Yeah, I had the privilege of being one of Sky's roommate when we were at the crossing, and like everyone said, he was just one of the kindest, most giving people. And a memory that really stuck out for me was, as we all know, he was a lover of shoes, and he had the craziest collection of shoes in there, and they were all over the floor. And I had my eye on a pair I would always compliment him on and everything like that. And I just remember he went out of his way on my birthday that year, and he comes up to me and he just gives me the pair of shoes that I really liked a lot. And I didn't really have family out here or anything, so I think that was probably the only gift I got that year. But yeah, that's just the kind of guy he was. And yeah, this is really tough. This hits really hard, but this shows that everyone here must have loved him a lot, and I know he loved all of you, so thank you guys.
I cannot say how much it hurts if you're a mother and you lose your son. I can only say how much it hurts when someone who you love loses a son. So we are constantly asking when we got here, Lord, just give us a sign. Just give us a sign today, if you will, a sign that he is with you. So on Monday, we went to the gathering place, and just to pick up his stuff and just to meet everyone. And in that process, we're asking every day, what's going on? And it was just wonderful to hear and meet all these people. And we were in his office, and someone knocks on his door, and I think it was, I can't remember. I don't think it was Aaron. It was somebody else. They said, there was someone who Sky helped and is helping, and she wanted to come see us. And she came in, and without hesitation, she said, Sky was a great help to me, and I want to pray for you. So right then and there, she prayed for us. And this is one of the many ways God has been telling us that He is with him, thanking him. So I'd like to ask you to come up and speak real quick.
My name is Philly Waina Alams and Tua'au. I'm going to pray. Father, I just ask you right now to use me. I ask you to speak through me. And I ask you to speak to me and speak through me, to use me to comfort this family and to let them know that Sky is in your hands. In Jesus' name, amen. So people can never pronounce my name. So my name is Filiwaina. It means change. I'm from the American Samoa island of Samoa. I'm not Hawaiian. I always think I'm Hawaiian, but no, I'm Samoan. So I love Sky with all my heart. He's my best friend. I was addicted to drugs, many drugs, 2012, and I'm homeless. To this day, I'm still homeless. But God has brought me from darkness into the light. So I am born again Christian. I completely surrendered my life to God April 24 when I moved into the Ramada. I've been living there at Ramada Inn is on Colfax, on Downing and Colfax. So I lived there for 3 months, and now they shut the building down, and I had to pack all my stuff. I said, God, I can never understand anything, but I trust you. So I didn't want to move because me and Jesus, that's me and Jesus' room. So I was like, Jesus, so what do you expect me to do now? He said, well, pack your stuff and put it in the truck. So he blessed me with a truck. I'm homeless, but he blessed me. Listen what he did for me. I have a wonderful job. I work like 4 blocks up the street from High Street. This is the gathering place on 1535 North High Street. I work on 1290 William Street. That's right up the street. So I start at 4:30 every morning. I am the janitorial / groundkeeper, so to speak. Call me, but I love my job because it's a healing process I'm going through. And I'm grateful for that job because God gave it to me. So I work from 4:30 to, I can't wait till 8 o'clock come because that's the time I have to run down to the gathering place to see Sky. So I knock on the door and Sky say, what's up, Ina? How you doing today? I said, man, I'm so happy to see you. I know that. So today I came here today to celebrate the life of Sky. Sky is a child of God. He's the son of God. Understand, he's not, this is a time of mourning. Yes, you will mourn because we will miss him greatly. But understand that God's will prevail. And the word of God is true. And if you believe in Jesus, just by faith you are saved by grace. So he brought me out of darkness. I was addicted to crack cocaine. However else other drugs there is on the planet Earth. But I'm 50 years old. But God preserved me for this moment. So understand, he have received his wings. He's not dead. It's not the end. It's only the beginning of his life. So know that he is in God's hand. He is the servant of God. Because he came on this planet to serve the Lord. And he have touched many lives. And he has truly changed mine. And I love that guy. I love him. I love his smile. And God, I love his shoes. I said, man, every day I come in, he has some cool looking shoes. I said, man, I'm sure gonna try to go see if I could get me one of those shoes. It's so amazing. He was said, okay, thanks, Ina. I said, well, you know what? One day I will own a pair of shoes like that, but I love your shoes. I love your shoes. But when I have hard times, because I'm going through the storm, but God said, have faith, stay in prayer. He will cease the storm. So understand, whatever it is that you're going in, what the situation may be, God is faithful and he's merciful. Sky is an amazing man, and I'm so grateful to be his friend, to be called his friend. And I'm here today to tell you that God is so good. Amen. He's an amazing God. So I'm going to leave you with this. I just have one. So I'm coming out of Ecclesiastic 3, verse 11. He has made everything beautiful in his own time. So I'll leave you with that.
I'm not sure if this person wants to come up, but I want to share this story. Part of the procedure to get to where we are today, we as the family get to see our beloved before anyone else gets to see them. So yesterday we came to see Sky Jolie, and when we were here, of course, we had a lot of apprehension, but when we finally came in and saw him, in our human eyes, this wasn't Joseph. Joseph was a beautiful, handsome, strong man. But here he is lying down with makeup and discoloration. And we were so didn't know what to think, didn't know what to feel, didn't know what to do. So we quickly left the room and we went outside and talked and talked. Should we open the casket? Should we close the casket? He's not in. Why does he have so much makeup? Why is he so dark? We were just talking, and then we had some questions for the staff, so I went off to find the staff to ask some question. And while I was walking away, this wonderful angel came up to me and said, "Excuse me, are you Sky's family?" And I said, "Oh, yes." And she goes, "Oh, are you his brother?" But I told her that I was his stepdad, and she told me she came here, she knew Sky, and Sky had helped her out, and she wanted to come because she didn't know what was going on tomorrow, that she wanted to give these cards to me. And she told me she took the bus. She probably had to transfer at least once because there's no direct bus from where she was coming to here. So she didn't even know we were supposed to be here. Who knows that they're going to be a viewing? Nobody knows. But she found it. She made her way here, taking the bus, and she wanted to give these cards to us. And at that moment, I just knew, and I said, "Do you want to meet Sky's mother?" And I took her to her crying, "Listen, this wonderful woman came here to give us this card. She doesn't even know we were supposed to be here, but she found out." And as we ask God each day to show us, again, He showed us. He showed us to this amazing, wonderful angel that He is with him, and that the pain that we're seeing is just the body that we use here on earth. It's not him. The spirit, the soul is up with God. This is the body. Yes, this is Joseph's body, but this is not Joseph. This is his body that he used in his short time. But if you are willing, Miss Odessa, if you're willing, can you come up here and say a few words?
The first thing I want to say is I'm no angel. I do bad and good, but they was quoting some of the scriptures, and I'm a Bible thumper. I like to study the Bible and quote it out. But one of the verses I like is that God can be touched with the feelings of our infirmities. And I was touched with the feelings of their infirmities because I lost a brother who was terminally ill. And I thought I was prepared because I knew he was going. And when that time came, it was so devastating, and I acted like a little kid. And it was extremely painful. So I just felt like I wanted to comfort people. The last words that Sky said to me was, Odessa, you need to come see me so I can help you get housing. Those are the last words. And so it's like, and it just came to me listening at the nice things that everyone said about him. And I'm constantly on the bus, and I know that I got so many directions, so I was confused. So I decided to come, I wanted to be here, so I decided to come a day prior. So this day, I would be able to make it. So I'm just grateful to be here, and I'm grateful for Sky and all of the staff over at Roadway and Gathering as well. We run them, gimme. We just always asking them for stuff. And I'm sure they're extremely tired when they go home. They probably want to like, please don't ask for nothing else. But I'm just grateful. They served us, and they're so compassionate. And so he had a friendly attitude and gentle soul. I didn't know him. I'm only acquainted with him. I don't really know him, but the little short time within I know that I got to meet him. And in that instant, he was gone so fast. So that teaches me we have to hold on to people, you know, not overly smother them, but at least let them know we care, because tomorrow is not promised. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to open anyone who would like to come up. Yes, please, come on up.
My name is Steven, and I was in the program with Sky, and all the fellas are over there, and we used to call each other the Get Along Gang. There was a few of us that were in the Get Along Gang, and man, we'd meet in the library, you know, and just hang out, and like I say, Errol would draw, and we just sort of hang out, and I met Sky, and he's like this big guy. Who is this guy, you know? Like a gentle giant. And I had a car. You get a car when you graduate, but I had a car beforehand. And Sky would be like, I want to go to Walmart with the Get Along Gang, you know? And I was like, well, okay, you know? And he was just always so friendly and playful to be this big guy. But I was like, okay. And he's like, here's $20. And it's like only 6 blocks away. And I'm like, you ain't got to give me $20. Here, take it. Okay, so Sky would ask me for stuff, you know. He wanted to go see the baby. And I said, okay, because he'd give me the $20, you know. So I'd always give him a ride. And we went and saw the baby and the baby's mama, you know. And then I got a chance to work at the National Western, which was right by the Coliseum. And the guy's like, I got a job. I'm working at the Gathering place. I said, oh, okay. And he's like, yeah, all these women. And it's like, that's cool, you know? Oh, it was great. So let's see, what else? Then the Denver Rescue Mission will give you furniture. So he calls me and says, I need a ride to get this furniture. I said, okay, Sky, you know, that $20 goes a long way. So we got together, and he didn't have his license. So we got this the first U-Haul wouldn't rent us one, and then we got this big old budget truck, I mean, way too big truck. And me and him are driving to the mission and to the MOC, and we get the furniture, and I'm a little bit older, but I'm helping Sky, you know, and then we get the apartment, and it got all these stairs, and we're moving all this stuff, and he got like 3 microwaves and 2 TVs and this little apartment, but we get all this stuff in there, you know, and Sky is just, he's just a good guy, man. You know, he liked all sorts of people. You know, I was like, oh, this old black guy, but Sky didn't care. You know, he's like, come on, let's go riding, you know, and just like I say, the Get Along gang, we go riding sometime. Remember, one time, me, you, and Sook, we went to South Glens Mall, way out, just driving in the snow for something, and Sky was so funny because he's in the back, and then he touched my head. I said, what are you doing? And he's just playing. I'm like, man, I'm trying to drive in the snow. Oh, he was such a good guy. And then when he got that job at the Gathering Place, he was so happy because I was at the National Western. And he'd come over at lunchtime, and I'm still busy. What are you doing, Sky? Oh, I'm just coming over to eat lunch. I'm like, okay, but I'm still busy. Oh, yeah. And he's just standing there. Oh, he was such a good dude. Man, so I got to say to all you guys that were in the program, man, do what you can to stay in recovery because it could happen just like that. And I know, because I've been through so much, but this is an example, man. It could just happen like that. So we got to stay strong. You know, the Get Along gang, the Get Along gang, we would just hang out and we were all making it. We were all getting along, you know, and Gabe, I remember Gabe, God rest his soul. It could happen. We need to stay in recovery, man. In remembrance of him, man. We got to stay together. You know, I don't have that much clean time right now, but I am clean. So to the fellas in the NLP, Sky was he's a great man, you know, but we just got to stay strong because I don't want to come together for more of this, you know, because I'm going to miss him forever. But he's such a gentle giant. He's so funny. Yeah, see, you know, he's a man. So I'm glad I'm able to come here because so many of us weren't able to come today. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, come on.
How y'all doing? I'm Sky's redneck friend from Louisiana, and I met him back in September 2019, and that was my sabotage buddy at the crossing, who we'd sneak video games in and play all the time, and I love that guy, you know, and him and Sook both, you know, probably him and Popeye and all of them over there, Dennis. That's the best bunch of guys I've ever met in my whole life. I'm 40, so it's not that easy to find them. And I don't know. I had no idea what I was gonna say when I come up here. But I do know one thing in the South: we say that the apple don't fall far from the tree. And Mama's the one who puts the good in the boys. Daddy's the one who puts the strength in them. So thank you for him. You know, that's all I got.
Anybody else? Okay, come on up. Thank you so much.
I was part of the peer recovery group or program, and we had a lot of good times, me and Sky, with certain things that he was helping me through with warm-ups and many different things that we touched base on, and his influence and testimony in my life is important, and I'm happy that I got to meet him. His job was important at the place that I stay at, the Roadway Inn, and I'm gonna really miss him. Thank you.
Anybody else? Come on up.
Hi, I'm sure a lot of you guys recognize me. I'm sure there's very few of you guys that don't. Yeah, it's not about me today, is it? No, it's about Mr. Sky. He provided unmatchable contributions to the gathering place of U.S., in my opinion. He was a very gentle giant and a loving soul, and he knew how to keep stuff light. Excuse me. And I agree that this as well is a time for grieving and mourning the loss of such a great, great individual, but a time of celebration for the life that he has still to offer beyond this plane of existence. Mr. Skies has gone on to a better place, and he will be fondly, fondly remembered, and I'm grateful that he had his life on earth. Period. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey. I originally met Sky when he first got into the program. Also, seems like a lot of us, that were in the program with him happened to meet him when he first got there. And that was just kind of the person that he was, like was mentioned before. He definitely would put himself out there, and he would actively try and reach out to people. And there's a brilliance in somebody like that. There's something about them that draws people towards them. Good people, they say what you put into the universe is what you'll get back sometimes, and he definitely put a lot of love into the universe. I was going to share a story, but I feel like I would be up here forever. So one thing that me and him did definitely bond over was music. Music in particular. We always talked about like our favorite rappers and our favorite bands and stuff like that. And I'm just gonna share just a quick excerpt from a song, real quick. It says here, "And as you journey into outer space, may the angels help to lead the way. May the prayers that our families made shine upon your soul and keep you safe. And all the friends that have passed away are there to greet you as you pass the gates. And as you're headed into the tunnel's light, I hope it leads to eternal life." Thank you.
Would you like to come up? Thank you.
My name is Shay, and first giving all honor to God, who's the Lord of my life, who I love dearly, giving honor to his mother, to his, how did you say it? Teapa, to his stepdad, and to all of you who are here and came to show how much you love Sky. I met Sky at Roadway, and as soon as I saw him, I was kind of like, ooh, who is that? And I just have so many fond memories of teasing Sky and just chiding him and playing with him. And there was a couple other ladies at the shelter that we would say, "Oh, that's my baby." And they said, "No, that's my baby." And he's like, "Well, then that's my baby daddy," you know. And so he went from being baby daddy, and then as he got his promotion and he got serious, and he'd start talking all deep and serious with us, like, "You need to do this." And I said, "You need to stop talking deep to these women, because they're gonna be like, 'Yes, daddy, whatever you say,'" you know. And so, I could play with him like that, and I just, really loved his spirit and his personality. He was always encouraging. I loved to cook, and he loved to cook and stuff, and he was supposed to cook a meal. I'm still waiting on that meal, I guess. So I have to get it when I get to heaven. I started a Bible study group at the shelter, and he would encourage me, and he would say, that's a good thing you did. And I said, "Well, why don't you come and sit in on it with me sometime?" And he said, "Yeah, I will." And then when it came time for him to leave and he went back over to the gathering place, it just broke our hearts, and we were like, "We're going to get a whole bus and all of us are going to come over there and visit you at the gathering place." And he said, "No, it's okay, I'll be back," And so I was happy to see him come back, on occasions and stuff. And he messed up my TV trying to help me fix it, because one day I decided to move my TV and the cable cord came out the back of the cord. Out the back of the TV, and so he just worked so hard trying to help me get cable back on, and I appreciated that. But I got like 5 channels now. Okay. I remember, taking pictures. I sent some pictures last minute, but I sent some pictures, and it's like he'd be trying to be hard, and I'm taking pictures of him, and then all of a sudden he comes up with one of these, or something, And the teddy bear in him, we used to call him teddy bear. It's like, "You're just a big teddy bear. Don't be trying to be hard," because he's trying to show his authority and stuff. But he really was a very sweet, gentle giant, as you guys call him. Very kind and caring, and I appreciate that. Sky, love you and will very much miss you. You guys be blessed.
Another story that I want to share is the hardest thing. There's many things that are hard, but once you get here, you start settling down and you need to find more information on, what is his electric bill, what is this bill, and where do we find that? We find that on people's cell phone or people's computer, if everything nowadays is online. And so the daunting task of trying to figure out what we have to do. As we said, we asked every day, "God, please show us. God, please show us." We are all doubters. We have faith, but we also have so much doubt in us. And Josie, Joseph's amazing younger sister, just picked up the phone, punched 4 numbers in, and it opened. Just 4 numbers. It was another gift from God that they had a conversation sometime in the past about this or that. And just like that, we were able to open his phone. Just like that, we were able to open his laptop. And just like that, we could find out information on what we needed to do to close this, close that, how to take care of his finances, and everything like that. Again, we are such doubters, and we ask God each day to show us, and he shows us through simple actions. All we have to do is open our eyes, and we can see it. So because we have access to everything, whereas before we have to wait for the death certificate, send some document and that to Apple for Apple iCloud to be opened up so that we could do something. We have access to all of that. And because of that, we have access to his Facebook. And because of that, if anybody wants to share anything, we will leave that open. at any time, we will leave that open just to continue to just honor and just to show respect and just to pour our hearts out, or a place to just come back to see what great stuff everyone had experienced. So at this time, I'd like to ask his amazing little sister to come up and say a few words.
Hi, I'm Sky's younger sister, Josie, and I wanted to share a letter I wrote to my brother the night I found out my brother had passed. In it, I refer to him as oppa, which in Korean is the phrase for a younger sister calling her older brother. Oppa, hi, it's your sister here, Josie. I don't know how you put up with me as your younger sister, but I'm so thankful for how you treated me, except maybe that time you stepped on my head. My head still hurts as I write this, but maybe that's because of all the crying I did today. Thanks, Oppa, for putting up with your backbiting, face-scratching sister. Though, I'm kind of proud of that face scratch because it feels like I kind of left a mark on you. Even when we were little, you protected me and guarded me like a big brother. I remember getting in trouble once for losing a puzzle piece or something, and as my punishment, I needed to clean up my toys, but you helped clean up with me even though it wasn't your fault. And when I got in trouble for how messy my desk was and how I wouldn't clean it, and as I was stopping and refusing to clean, you cleaned it up for me. Wow, this sounds like I'm a really messy person, but I really love the mess that we made when we made those spectacular chair and blanket forts in the living room back in Naperville, Illinois. I thought they were so elaborate. I don't know why I kept trying to compete with you, even though you're 4.5 years older than me. I remember our family walks to Overwise Ice Cream and how we would sit down at those tables with the chessboards and we would play together. I remember getting so frustrated that I couldn't beat you. I would often give up and just start stacking the pieces on top of each other because I thought I would lose. And it was such a big accomplishment the day I beat you. But honestly, thank you for being willing to play games with me when others in our family didn't want to. I remember the night you picked me up from daycare in the pouring rain, but you did it for my safety and well-being. We were soaked and drenched when we got home, and I was complaining the whole way, but you sacrificed and served to get me home safely, even though you were only in middle school. You wanted the best for me as your little sis. Even back in elementary school, the only year we were in the same school, you stood up when someone you knew called me a name. You got the principal involved so it wouldn't happen again. All I thought about was how I was taken out of the classroom by a principal because of you and called a name by someone you knew, but really, you're standing up for me. Sorry for all the times I judged you, ignored you, tattled on you, belittled you, and just so much. And thank you for forgiving me graciously whenever I had those guilt trips that I should really ask for your forgiveness on everything I've done in the past. You taught me what forgiveness and reconciliation looks like, and I'm still learning. Oppa, I can't tell you how proud I am for all you've accomplished. Your life was not easy, no doubt, but all the perseverance, the strength to keep fighting, and truly when you went through Denver Rescue Mission and that whole journey, man, Oppa, I'm just so proud of you. So proud of all you've done. So thankful that you encountered God again and accepted him into your life for healing, for restoring. Thankful for how you've used your experiences to help others, point others to Christ, point others towards recovery. Truly, so proud. I talked about you with such pride to others on all you've accomplished. This past year, I'm especially thankful for all the emotional support you gave me, whether it was about family, work, relationships, emotions, you were there to listen and offer encouragement. When you came to surprise me on my birthday, your birthday, it felt felt like I was the one receiving the present. It was so nice being able to make fun memories with you. Fun times, walking, posing for mom, Uno, Julie and the Phantoms, New Girl, food, and more food. That was such precious time, and I'm so glad that we had that before you left. I'm going to remember it for the good memories. You know, when I told people I was moving to Denver, I said my brother was there, that it would be nice to be near family. I thought we could build on growing our relationships further as adult siblings. We can't do that anymore, but that's okay. I'm glad that we were able to end on such good terms, and honestly, I'm happy that now you are with our perfect Father in heaven, with unconditional love and full acceptance. I hope you feel so full being able to experience His love now, and you see more clearly how beautifully He formed and created you. Oppa, enjoy God's presence up there, and we'll meet again before you know it. I love you, Oppa. Your sis, Goody Smiley. You helped create that username with me, so I'll remember you by it.
Thank you so much, Josie. We have one more person who wanted to share something about Sky. Come on.
It's okay. It's okay. My name's Diana. I used to go to the gathering. And whenever I see Sky, he has a big smile on his face. And it makes me want to cry. He will be truly missed, and I love him dearly. Rest in peace, brother. Love you, bye.
I just like to bring up Joseph's mother at this time.
Okay. I'm Sky's mom. I don't know what to tell you. First when I heard the news, I was so upset and angry. I just want to bring him home to stay in Seattle next to my mom. I didn't prepare anything, I just upset. I didn't know what happened last year. The COVID blocked us. I mean, we couldn't travel. From time to time, he called me what he has done. Job, gathering praise. I shared. But I didn't know that how God worked through Joseph. I just want him be in the right path. That's why I was praying. That was my prayer, whole lifetime. I want him to be like someone, get a good job, good family, have a house. I don't want him to be homeless. I don't want him to be having drug. I think I pray for him all the times. Joseph, you belong to me. Why are you out there? Okay, we love you so much. Live like others. But then I found out God has different plan. I didn't know until he died what God works through him. So from the first day, I met his friend here. I heard a so beautiful story. He was a good friend. He loving, care people. And next day, we went together in praise. I heard his story, how he worked, how he loving care people. And still, like Tom says, I wasn't sure. Is it really God's plan? Please, God, show me. Is it really right place? I asked him to play, show me every day. Because my faith was weak. I couldn't believe, I just heard. But God sent us people by message, texting, and also sending people day by day. So it was a perfect plan under God's control. So we decided to show to the people how God works. God's really focused on the people. So He loving, He cared others like God did. God sent Him to the people. To the people. And then to tell them gospel. I heard that He took some people to the church. And then He started purpose-driven life. That's what we did together. He's the only one too. We didn't go through purpose-driven life. Mm-hmm. And then I remember that time, he called me one time, Mom, we're going to study purpose-driven life. Okay, that's great. Do you need more book? I can send you over. See, this is the one you told. He didn't study Bible study, go to church. Somehow, he's being, here and there. So she's the one you have too. We have experience together. He took them to the church and then tell them, study together, purpose-driven life. And also at the apartment, I found that only 2 books. There was a Bible, purpose-driven life. I think he doesn't have a faith. When I see him, how he lives out there, but he has more faith. One time I asked him, do you think you can go to heaven? He said, sure, I'm going to be in heaven because I believe in Jesus. Wow, really, that's a really strong faith. Yeah. God uses a different way. We cannot judge as when we see people. Okay, I want to share one story. I think at the time he was in the Denver Rescue Mission. He called me one time, Mom, I'm really sick. I need to go to see a doctor. So I asked my boss. He said, okay, go get him. Thank you, John. Where are you? That was you. So I took him to emergency and then went through. Took him to the emergency. So I dropped him off. I think there was Denver Rescue Mission. And the next day, what I heard, he got fired. I think people say love, but the world is not welcoming you guys. For the person out there, they have assumption. They don't trust. They are so cold. So I know my son is a struggle so much getting a job and the battling drug addiction. But he went through it. But he has to battle the lifetime. I'm so proud of my son, what he has gone through. So I heard there's so many stories from you guys. My son is really loving, caring people. When we came here last month, right after the second shot, I flew over to see my son and my daughter in Indiana. I stayed at Joseph's house. It was a small studio. He was so happy that having his own space share with us. He wake up in the morning. Somehow he go upstairs. And even after work, he go upstairs after he come to home. So I asked him, what are you doing and why you go upstairs? Now upstairs there's an old man with mental issues. I need to check him every day, make sure he's okay. So my son was, so I really believe that how you guys, your experience share with us, how he has done. So I believe. So after that, after he dies, I found out the message is from God. Okay. We all asking. We like a.
한국말로 해.
Okay. 한국말 할게.
She'll say it in Korean and I'll
We
try
have
my
a
best.
friend in the other side, the Korean, my friends, they are all prayer support. So they are also watching this and also some other locations. So I'm going to, and also church members, and so I'm going to speak Korean. 내가 하나님을 믿은 지는 정말 오래됐지만 하나님이 어디에 관심이 있는지는 몰랐던 것 같아요.
She has had faith for a very long time, but she didn't know what God's focus was on her.
내가 헌금을 내고 도네이션을 하고
She gives offerings, she makes donations,
그거면 난 된다고 생각을 했어요.
thinking that that's all we needed to do.
그 사람들이 홈리스나 누가 살고 있는 곳에 가서 내가 하나님을 알리고 하나님을 얘기하는 거는 자신이 없었어요.
There was never a time when I felt that I needed to go to the homeless to preach the word of God.
내가 도네이션 하면은 미셔너리가 선교를 하고 내가 도네이션 하면은 like a Denver Rescue Mission 에서 사람들을 도와주는 거라. 그래서 나는 그렇게 하면 되는 줄 알았어요.
Making donation like to the Denver Rescue Mission, then they can do the work. That's something that I thought we couldn't do.
근데 그게 아니었던 것 같아요.
But that wasn't it.
내가 정말 하나님이 사람을 사랑하고 어디에 관심이 있는지를 찬양을 하고 기도를 하지만은 그런 걸 안 했던 것 같아요.
If I am loving like God is, then that's not what I needed to do.
그래서 이번 일을 통해서 배웠어요. 하나님의 마음이 어디 있는 줄 알고 하나님이 진짜 우리가 어떤 액션을 취하는지 알았기 때문에 앞으로는 하늘이가 가르쳐준 그런 삶, 그런 대로 살아가는 게 우리의 숙제인 것 같아요.
Through this events, I have learned that what Joseph was doing, going to the people and sharing God's word with them is something that we all need to do, what we need to do.
하늘이 사랑해줘서 너무 감사합니다.
Thank you for loving Joseph.
하늘이 엄마로 28년 동안 살았던 거 너무 영광스럽고요.
She is so honored to be Joseph's mother for the last 28 years.
하늘이 일은 앞으로 계속될 겁니다.
She's going to continue his work.
Thank you.
Thank you. As 새아빠, stepfather or stepdad, I've only known him maybe 8 years because of when we were dating. And then afterwards, all I really saw, other than the pictures of when he was young, was the hardship that Sun was going through with her son. And of course, I tried my best to support her and try to help her through it. But inevitably, there is a prejudice. There's something that builds up in you about what this person is. And I think I kept that for a very long time. And even though there is nothing like the love from a mother, love from a father, because I love my wife, I had some of that love. But at the same time, doubt, same time, prejudice, same time, just how can you be doing this? You should be knowing better. That type of arrogance, maybe. And truthfully, this time has shown me how wrong I was. We didn't know Sky had done so much outreach, so much helping to others. And it may be too late, but I'd like to apologize for thinking that way. It didn't stop me from helping him, but I still had that thought in the back of my mind. I no longer have that because he has done so much work, 10, 100 times more than I have ever done. There's no way I could go to, even today when I drive, there isn't a single time that I do not meet someone on the road that I pass by as I'm driving. It's not my role to judge whether they're homeless or not. It's just whether I'm going to take the call that God has asked me to help them somehow, $1, a nickel, whatever it may be. It's their choice how they're going to use that. But it's my choice whether I'm going to help them or not. So Sky is still teaching me. Sky is still teaching us. He truly followed the example that Jesus gave us. So, Sky's mother, Sky's 동생, Josie, and Sky 새아빠, Tom, would like to thank his friends who went through all the programs. We'd like to thank the staff of the Roadway who worked with him, the staff at Denver Rescue Mission that helped him, the staff at the gathering place that loved him, all his friends. And we'd like to also thank our family here when we were here, our small group Mokjang, our pastor, Reverend Song, my Bible study leader, Reverend Andrew, and just want to thank even all the people online. Just thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your love. We are going to part by, if you want to, we're going to play a song that I think is just befitting him and is the way he lived and what he wants to say to us. If you would like, you can come up and see him one more time. But please stay to have just a reception with some light snacks. Yes?
Yeah, can I say something?
Sure. Be my guest.
All right, my name is Javier, and I know we're running out of time, but I met Sky back in 2012 at CCD, Community College of Denver. And so I am an immigrant, and when I moved here, I had no family. And then I was learning English, and then they told me, if you're done with ESL classes, go to college. I went to college, but they sent me back to, they said I need the GED, or in my high school, I didn't have that. So anyways, I started working on my GED diploma. That's when I met Sky. And he knew that I was struggling with my English because English is my second language. And then he'll introduce himself, and he's like, my name is Sky. I'm like, Sky? yeah, cielo. I'm like, cielo? Yeah, cielo, sky means cielo in Spanish, right? I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. It was my first time that I heard Sky's name. For the first time, I mean, you know, I live in Mexico and then I moved here, didn't know English. But anyways, he was my best friend during the GD. Having no family here, I have 6 siblings, but we're all over. Part of my family is in Mexico, some are here in different states. So I had no family, no friends, nothing when I moved here. But I met Sky, and every time after school, not every day, but you know, sometimes he'll be like, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, what are you doing after school? I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Because, you know, learning English is hard to understand what, you know, what they're meaning. And I'll be like, nothing. He's like, you want to hang out? I was like, sure, what are you going to do? He's like, let's go to my mom's apartment so we can play pool. I'm like, I don't know how to play pool. And he's like, I'll teach you. And then he taught me how to play pool. And then some other times he'll be like, let's go to my mom's apartment and work out. So he'll take me to the apartments. And another day he took me to his same place, you know, his mom's apartment. And he's like, let's play basketball. So we play basketball on the roof of the apartment. And then we were hungry. I'm like, I'm hungry. He's like, yeah. I'm like, what do you want to eat? And he's like, let's go get some pizza. So we ate pizza on the roof, at the roof of the apartments. And he was a really good friend of mine at the time when I had no one. And after that, we lost communication, but we're still friends. We never argue or anything. Oh, but I know I'm taking forever, but the last thing I want to say is at the day of our graduation, I met his mom, and he introduced me. He's like, this is my best friend, Javier. He always said that I was his best friend. Yes, so if you ask me who was my best friend or who's been my best friend all this time here in Denver, I'll think of Sky all the time, because he always said that. Even when I met his son's mother, he was like, hey, Javier, I saw him. I'm a musician. I play in a band. So I was going to play at this Mexican restaurant. So I was walking on Federal, and I don't remember the other street. And someone said, Javier. I was like, who's that guy with yellow hair? You know, he's like, Sky? He's like, yeah, it's me, man. Come on, my friend. So he's like, come to my house. I'll show you I got a son. I'm like, I didn't know that. So he introduced me to his son's mother, and he's like, this is my best friend. This is Javier. So I was always his best friend too. And then at the end, the day of the graduation, this is the last thing I want to say. I was married at the time, and I remember at the end of the graduation, we went outside that place, and I asked my ex-wife, I told her, hey, would you take me a picture with Sky? And she's like, yeah. So we took a picture, and then after that, we said goodbye. I had a huge argument with my ex-wife, because she said, you wanted to take a picture with Sky, but you never asked me to take a picture, to take a picture with us. And I was like, I'm sorry, but but yeah, he was a great guy. And I know this year, at the beginning of this year, he told me he got his own studio, and he got a job at the Rescue. I don't remember what is that, the name of that place, but he said, bring me some crawfish whenever you want. Visit me and bring me some crawfish. He sent me his address, and that's something that I still owe to him. I never went because I work in a restaurant, but he's a great guy. I always remember him as a good guy. I know he's, like you said, like everybody said, his body's here, but he's still with us. And I want to thank you because he was helping me, with my English too. He became a math tutor also, so he was a great guy. Thank you.
Okay, as the music play, we are welcome to come by and say your goodbyes to Sky, to his body. His soul, his heart will always be with us. Okay, thank you. And please stay afterwards to share in some food and conversation and love. Thank you. The words are in the program if you would like to sing along or just look at the words.